Welcome to Transcending the Rabbit Hole. I'm Brandy Anderson. I'm a spiritual director and Jungian coach on an ever-winding contemplative path of becoming. I'm the author of Through the Veil, A Glimpse into the Afterlife, and co-host of Spectral Symposium podcast. I'm joined today by my very good friends and co-hosts, Annelise and Parker Bess. Annelise is a singer-songwriter, sound healer, and spiritual influencer dedicated to raising human consciousness as she shares her awakening journey on TikTok. Parker is a true knowledge seeker and truth bringer in the realm of esoteric wisdom. Parker has a solid understanding of metaphysical concepts with expertise in the shadowy corridors of secret societies, occult knowledge, and ancient aliens and ufology. We invite you to pry open your third eye and journey with us through the cosmic rabbit hole as we alchemize esoteric insights in a quest for ultimate truth.
Falling down the rabbit hole again.
Welcome to another episode of Transcending the Rabbit Hole. Our ancestors once looked to the sky for omens, for messages, for signs of presence beyond our world. Today, most look up and see only physics. Yet a visitor has arrived that awakens an ancient instinct in us, a whisper in the memory of our species. 3-Eye Atlas enters not only our solar system, but our collective imagination. Science calls it an interstellar comet, but something in the collective psyche hesitates. Its path, its composition, and its timing have caused even sober minds in astronomy to pause and say, what if? And that question, that subtle doorway, is where we begin our conversation today. Annelise and Parker, it's a privilege to transcend this rabbit hole with you guys.
Hey, good to be here, Brandy. It's great to be here in the last episode of the year. So This is wild. It's been a whole year.
Yeah, it really is wild. 25 episodes.
Yeah, hard to believe. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, this is a fun topic to end on. I'm really looking forward to the chit chat.
Yeah, me too. I think before we dive into like the science and the speculation, I just want to pause and explain for everyone listening who might not be familiar, like what 3-Eye Atlas actually is. I've mentioned 3-Eye Atlas to several people recently who had never heard of it at all. So it's not even on a lot of people's radar, I think. And so I thought it'd be helpful to, set the tone by maybe describing what it is. And it's stirring so many questions with both like astronomers and mystics right now. So, Parker, I know you've been following it pretty closely and you're more tapped into it than I am. I've heard the collective buzz around it for the past few months, but I haven't really paid it close attention. So I'm going to hand it off to you and let you school us on this thing.
All right. Yeah. So, 3-Eye Atlas, it's the third interstellar object that has come through our solar system ever within recorded history. It's pretty amazing. All the stuff that comes along with it. It's not like a ball, like a rock, like you would think of, like all the movies, like a comet, flying through space. It's actually like a cylinder shape, like a cigar shape that's as big as Manhattan. And it's flying 150,000 miles per hour. And supposedly it's as old as our sun.
Wow.
Which is even crazier because it's older than our Earth. And the things that it's just doing is it goes beyond physics, because what we're seeing is maneuvering, which does not happen in space. It has metallic properties, which isn't necessarily a comet thing. It's seeming to be fully, or at least more metallic than it is anything else. There's some videos and some photos that have been leaked out through other countries, because NASA right now is not releasing any photos or any information on 3-Eye Atlas, even though they activated the Planetary Awareness Defense System, which is a global collaborative effort to focus on this comet that's flying towards our solar system. And now it's starting to maneuver in ways where it's starting to have a trajectory towards Earth. And things don't really fly through space in that kind of way. I mean, we see things like zip through like in a straight line, or if it's getting swung out through, gravity of a planet, it's making a curvature shape. This thing is like going in a curve, but then doing a sharp left turn back towards Earth, and people really thought, like, when this 3-Eye Atlas went behind the sun, it went behind the sun recently, they thought, oh, this thing is going to disintegrate like every other comet does. It's going to burn off. We're going to see this gas sure enough, they see it come back around. This is all from other countries, obviously, because NASA is blacked out, but it's coming back around the sun. And it not only did it not burn up and go away, there's no gas cloud, which would mean there's no ice coming off that thing. And it turned from a red color to a straight up blue color and accelerated even faster. So before it went behind the sun, it was decelerating and then accelerating and then decelerating and accelerating. And if you know about space, that does not happen. You cannot do that without, engine propulsion system. So that thing is turning blue, and a lot of scientists are starting to think, well, daggone, if this thing is turning blue, I mean, that would be the color of the engine propulsion system. And if it didn't get disintegrated by the sun, then maybe it got charged up by the sun because it's flying even faster now from coming from behind the sun. The reason I know this stuff is because I see the stuff from other countries, especially from like Russia. I see stuff, some of the stuff leaked out from England, but their telescopes are on this thing. So that's how we're getting this information. America, they blacked it out. So anyways, we see it get close to the sun and starting to come back around. It got blasted by a solar flare, like one of those huge plasma, just solar plasma bursts hit this spaceship, and it didn't do anything to it. It just kept flying straight through it. And now and if you know about this podcast, you know that these solar flares, or at least from my, research and understanding, are what is making the Earth, go up in vibration and frequency, causing the Great Awakening and all this stuff. But you're telling me like this comet, right? Quotation marks, didn't disintegrate when it was right next to the sun, right next to it. And then it got blasted by a solar flare and just charged up and kept going even faster. I mean, that's just insane. Comets don't go from yellow to red to blue. They don't change colors like that, and people keep wanting to see a gas cloud come off this thing to prove it's ice. There's no gas cloud coming off. And the pictures literally look like there's lights coming off of this thing. Now that's a strong claim, but what I'm telling y'all is, I don't know if it's the metallic of it, but it looks like individual lights are up on this leaked out photo that came out, So that's a
I
long.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's truly amazing, and it's a damn shame this government will not release one thing on this, because I don't want to give away the whole podcast. So let me just hand it over to you guys real quick.
Well, that was a really good explanation, and like of what's going on with it and everything. So what I hear you saying is that it is an object flying through space that has entered our solar system that our government is labeling a comet. Is that correct?
Yes, and they've activated the interplanetary defense system for the world to collaborate and study this thing. And, that does not happen unless there's a huge emergency, or emergency, but a huge thing that's
drawing their
not
attention
normal.
for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it's causing so much of a problem. They're activating the interplanetary defense system for comets.
But then they turn the lights off on us.
Then they turn the lights off on us. Yeah, exactly.
They say, I'm not going to tell you.
Exactly.
That's convenient.
Because it is behaving like there's an intelligent design behind it. That's what I hear you saying also. And like I said, I haven't dug into this, and so my knowledge is very limited here. But I did see there was a paper written by 3 astrophysicists who are saying just that there's an intelligent design behind it, because the trajectory and the thrust maneuvers, like what you were saying, it would only make sense for something intelligently designed to enter our solar system. It's called reverse solar something. I can't think of, I don't know, maybe Parker, but it's essentially like a slingshot maneuver.
Yeah, it's in retrograde.
Gravity. Yeah,
exactly.
It uses the gravity of the sun so that it can come into our solar system. It's definitely not like some random flying object. Yeah. If that's the case, it's like it has used the gravity field in order to maneuver and enter our solar system. And so, there's definitely, it seems, based on what I have seen and what you're saying, that there's more to this comet than meets the eye.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Like that from everything that we have seen, like that's exactly what happened. It if anybody has seen that movie Interstellar, it's what they did to whip around Jupiter, or use one of the planet's gravitational pulls to whip it around at a fast speed to get to a certain spot faster. That's what this comet did. It literally went around the sun, got, I charged up or whatever, and slingshotted straight back towards us, and well, actually, I shouldn't even say that. It got slingshotted in the curvature of the form, like of the gravity pull. But the weird part is where it did the little jut back towards Earth, because that's not normal. There's no wind in space, people. Like, when something is traveling in space, it goes that direction for the infinite amount of time.
Right.
So if you're in space and you had a beach ball and you push the beach ball, that beach ball will go that way in space for the rest of the time unless something hits it.
Yeah.
So what 3i Atlas did was it went around the sun, and it's supposed to keep doing the curvature out, but it jutted back towards Earth.
It made like a left.
Yeah, it made like a left turn. And I'm so glad you said that about the astrophysicist papers and everything, because let me see this guy's name. What's this? This guy is a Harvard professor, and his name is Avi Loeb. That's his name. And he's the first one that really kind of came out in late September, I guess, and said, this thing is an alien spacecraft. The information that he put out there to back up his theory is what, kind of got everybody looking at this thing. And after that, the interplanetary warning happened and all this other stuff. Now you have other people coming out saying like, oh, one world government, they're going to use alien invasion, Project Bluebeam, blah, 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 but what's crazy is, like, listen, this thing is massive. Imagine Manhattan flying through space, whipping around the sun, turning blue like a bullet would, like if you shot it out of a gun. It's flying through that fast, and it's not disintegrating through solar flares or through the heat of the sun. It's only getting stronger. And then it just does a left turn propulsion out of the gravitational pull. That does not happen. That does not happen. So, I mean, I think everybody knows where I stand on this, but
I don't know where else you could stand on it.
Yeah, I mean,
if you are listening and paying attention and not, stuck in just a silly systemic way of thinking, obviously it's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're stuck in the Matrix mindset, then, we're just the prevailing narrative, right? Hey, this is a comet, nothing more. It's not, and we don't hear all of that if you're not tapped in, because honestly, like I said, I had mentioned this to several people and they were like, what? They had no clue what I was talking about. 3i Atlas, a comet has entered our solar system that is behaving like an alien craft. They had heard nothing. And so, if you're just watching the mainstream channels, if you're just tuned into the mainstream matrix, you're missing all of this. And I think it's that way by design. Before we get into like what we think it is, I thought it would be good to just kind of set the tone by what are others saying that it is. I've seen some remote viewers saying that they see metal surfaces and steps, like they say it feels like a visitor with a purpose, like something engineered, intelligent. And I saw one of them saying that it was filled with grays, like gray aliens. Like they saw that it was a craft with gray aliens. Remote viewing is certainly not scientifically accepted, and there's a margin of error and a lot of speculation around it, but it is interesting to hear what these people are saying. I haven't heard anyone remote viewing who has said it's just a comet or some intergalactic debris. And maybe, and I think that's interesting. I mean, maybe it's because of the collective speculation, or maybe they're just tapping into the collective imagination, but maybe some of them are actually picking up on what this thing really is. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in relation to what they've kind of said. But by and large, I'm hearing people say they believe it is a craft of some sort.
The thing about 3i Atlas, and the theory is, some people think that this is a ancient interstellar object that's come to help raise consciousness. Some people think this thing is as old as our sun, and maybe the veil's thinning quite a bit to the point where these kind of objects will come through our solar system quite a bit, and that could really be you could apply that to, like, if it's filled with grays or bad entities or even good entities, like, there's gonna be more of these, I would say, coming through our solar system because of the consciousness level that's able to pick up on them now. Like, when you raise your vibration and you raise your consciousness, the veil thins a little bit more and a little bit more. So when that happens, other things will start to pop out. Like, maybe a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension spacecraft comes out, and now we're able to see it because we're able to be in that dimension in our psyche. I mean, we are multi-dimensional being people. And I know I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here, but the thing is that, but
Those were the theories, though.
those are the theories. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things, but you hear a lot of things about a lot of things. One interesting one I heard that I mentioned to y'all, it was a woman who claimed to be like a channeler psychic type who is somehow connected to the beings on that ship. And she said they are lost and they're looking for home, and that's all they could say was home. They were like a very tribalistic looking type of people, and they home, home. And she said they were scared. I thought that's an interesting one. I don't think that's it, that there's just this like lost tribal community hurling through space. I mean, that'd be horrible, but but that's one interesting one I heard. I do totally think, no, whatever. Yeah, that it's some kind of craft. I mean, if you can listen to what people have found about it, it's hard to not know that.
Yeah.
But as far as like who's on it, gosh, it's an infinite galaxy.
That's right.
Like you were saying, could be somebody for Earth's ascension, could be somebody for Earth's descension. But there's so many of them that I wouldn't worry about like just the one that NASA says we spotted, because there's so many of them. I know it's as big as Manhattan, but there's a lot more out there than I think people realize. And I'm saying that because I see these orbs often, and I don't see these Manhattan size orbs, but I see the glowing type orbs that so many are visited by as the veil has been thinning. It's not an uncommon thing. You can look this up on TikTok. There's a lot of people seeing this. So I know they're out there, but I can't say if they're good or bad. Time will tell, but I trust that there's enough of the good ones that would also be unveiling themselves that I'm not going to stress about the bad ones if they are also. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it. I haven't heard a whole lot of good theories on it, except for what y'all have mentioned. What about you, Brandy?
I heard somebody say it might be AI, like no beings inside it at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of
I've heard that
AI.
too.
Yeah. And then yeah, I heard one theory that it is ETs, but they're just studying and mapping. Like they're
Yep.
not interested in hard contact. They're just gathering data. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to kind of scroll through and just see what everybody's kind of saying, what everybody kind of feels is going on. And like you were saying, Annelise, it could be good or bad entities because both exist, right? And so, yes, like what is the intent behind it? I guess that's always, the probing question, because if they're just mapping, if they're just gathering data, then that's no threat to anyone. If it's just AI, I don't think that would be a threat either. Again, I think that would probably be more about processing information, gathering data. I don't know. But there are these unlimited theories. I think the most interesting theories to me are the people who are like the psychic mediums or the remote viewers, because they're like, oh, I've seen it and this is what it is. And they're all saying something different. So everybody can't be right.
Yeah.
One theory I heard was that it's an organic vessel, like a living vessel.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool because there's that same theory that the cherubim in the Bible were actually living vessels.
Yeah.
So like they were crafts in and of themselves, but they were alive.
Yeah. That's actually probably what I would say. If this thing comes to Earth, right, I would just have to think like this thing is an organic, conscious thing. Like it's hard for us to wrap our head around that on Earth because we as people just say, oh, us as people are conscious. Well, that's not really true either. I mean, everything is conscious. And who's to say that this interstellar object that's older than our sun isn't conscious and isn't trying to maybe, I don't know, impart knowledge or impart awakening or impart something, at least just say, I'm here, like if it was a conscious being, I mean, and that sounds crazy, but when you start to look at all the facts I stated at the beginning of this podcast, it's not so crazy. I mean, it's either a craft of some kind or the greatest fake news story that's ever existed other than the moon landing. So,
Well, the author we mentioned before, Chris Bledsoe, from that book UFO of God, he talks about, more crafts coming and coming until things kind of really pop off. Sounds like kind of next year. So
yeah.
this just makes sense. And I don't think it's anything to be fearful of, but to me, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
No matter who's on board, it's like, yes, please come down and show everybody that you're out there. Just at least, can we start there? And then we can start having conversations about it. And then more, So
Yeah.
it's,
And even now, though, it is starting conversations. I mean, really, like, say it's not a ship. Just say it's just this magnificent comet that has done things that other comets have never did ever before. Like that's still pretty magnificent. Like it's still crazy cool. Oh, I wanted to say this too about the spirituality of 3-Eye Atlas. The part where I said there's no coincidence is for some people that can mean like I was saying, the third dimensional interstellar object, or to spiritual people it can mean like your third eye, and then at last, like your third eye is getting connected. I've heard that theory as well. But yeah, so it's just too grand to just say like this is nothing. I'm not gonna look at
that'd be the
anything like
dumbest
this.
thing you could do.
Yeah,
Is just say this is nothing. This is a comet.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Mm.
it's something. It's something that is doing things that have never done before, and it's pretty amazing. It is, and if it is an alien ship full of grays, I guess we'll be having first contact soon. I don't, I mean, it's still exciting. It's still.
I don't know. It kind of gives me pause. Knowing, I think it's magnificent. I think, the fact that it's coming toward us, it's the size of Manhattan. I think it's fantastic to think about. And yeah, I definitely think contact would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I have my reservations about what type of contact I would be
I
open
hope
to,
it's
really.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the thing. I don't know that I would want negative advanced intelligence beings making contact in such a direct way.
Who's to say that it's coming to Earth? Like we're all like, oh my God, coming to Earth, coming to Earth.
Well,
But why would this Manhattan-sized thing just so happen to land on our planet?
well, that's the thing. It did the propulsion to the left to head towards Earth, but there's nothing on it right now that says it's going to hit Earth or going to Earth. Because to be honest with you guys, it changes every single day. That's why they can't nail it down, because it's going left and then they'll go right and then they'll
Speed
go
up, slow
speed up
down.
and slow down and
Yeah.
So
charge up and go away. It's just like,
it's not following the GPS. It doesn't sound like.
and that's why people are freaking out, because, and the scientists activated that alarm because they can't project it, and the AI can't project it. So
Well, for the communities out there who feel that aliens are demons, whether they're good or bad, that would be very frightening to think that it's a Manhattan-sized thing of bad alien demons coming,
Right.
So I don't want to give anyone pause or anything. We are the sentient light of God. There's no thing to fear.
that's right.
They might look scary, whoever they are, but you have the light of God in you, not dark entities. So if it was something dark.
Yeah.
I think I think the most important thing is to just know you are connected to source. That's the main thing, right? Like everything emanates from source, like everything does. And that means a interstellar comet. That means a organic vessel. That means
Right.
all that, and if you're directly connected to source, God, universe, if you're directly connected to that, then that's all that matters.
I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, like you were saying, whether it's, good entities or bad entities, I mean, the world is a world of duality, right? We live in this, this tension of opposites. And so there's good and bad in every dynamic, whether it be people or interdimensional beings or whatever. And so we always have to hold that tension with equanimity, and we have to be balanced in the way that we engage with things. And I think that's important. And so it's not to drop into fear, it's to use discernment with everything that we engage with, and to realize that not everything's friendly, but also not everything is evil. And so it's just about having a balanced view of reality. And I definitely think that whatever this craft is, or comet, or whatever it is, I definitely think if it does land, if it were to be an alien craft and beings were to come out of it, it would definitely shift things for us. And I
Dramatically.
guess that's the next question. Like, what does it mean for humanity if it is an engineered craft, and if it does land on Earth? Like, what would that mean for humanity as a whole? I guess that's a good question to kind of ponder here.
I think we'd never be the same again. I know we'd never be the same again, obviously, and people would definitely need to quit their jobs. I mean, but no, all jokes aside, it would
I did
be
that years ago.
Oh, I think it'd be so freeing because it would take down all the BS systems that most people still follow. They'd finally have to wake up. There'd be no more, what's going on out there? We'd finally know, that we're the little guys out here. I think it would wake everybody up on purpose, which is great. That's what we want. But being awake is painful, and the process that would come after that would be painful. But it would change everything, and it would probably, if they were bad entities, it would start a intergalactic war. It would bring the good entities down because they're not going to let us be destroyed. From what I know, so it'd be a showdown, and it'd be a
Yeah.
time to get in your bunker and just watch it play out for a minute. But
Yeah.
no, truly, I don't have fear behind it. I know that sounds like something people should have fear, but no fear at all, because I trust that we are like a divinely protected planet.
Yeah, and we are. I mean, there's multiple reports of countries pressing the nuke button just to have their nuke button turned off simultaneously, or
Mm.
maybe even test a nuclear weapon. There's footage of this where a nuclear weapon is being tested, and you see this orb fly in, and zap it one time, fly on top of it, zap, fly on the other side and zap it, and thing just falls out of the sky like it's nothing. And our government is coming out nowadays and saying all this stuff. They are coming out and saying it, and nobody cares because it's just getting put on the freaking ticker of the news channel. Like, that's it, And unless you have like the right people to follow or whatever, you won't ever see it. And they're coming out
Yeah.
and saying this stuff, That's what's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
like it's soft disclosure before hard disclosure.
Mhm.
And, and if it did happen to where they came down and got out, I mean, the systems would come down. Organized religion would come down, because how could that be? How could that be? Unless,
Yeah.
That's because the God that the church worships couldn't be the same God that could create other entities in their mind.
exactly.
And that's a small God.
Right, exactly. So, 3-Eye Atlas, it pretty much reminds us that the universe is alive with travelers, no matter what. And sometimes, one will drift close enough to our solar system to where it starts to awaken people of, there's other things out there. There's other things out there than me and this earth and all this other stuff. And when people start getting that macro mindset, it really opens up a lot and the conscious shifts.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you guys honestly here, if they come down and get out of that ship, people are going to freak out.
Mhm.
But the good entities that turned off the nuke buttons and shot down the nukes are not going to let this planet go away. Our planet is not going to be destroyed. And Chris Bledsoe is the guy who wrote UFO of God, talking about seeing these entities called the Lady, or the Lady is the entity he talks to. And she pretty much told him, like, we are protecting this earth and protecting humanity. So and I highly believe this dude, because everything he said has come true. Look him up if you don't know him. You'll be highly shocked by all his revelations. But if entities come down, the world's going to change, but it's going to change for the better. And like I've said on this podcast multiple times, it takes going through the darkness to see the light, and then consciousness will shift. Some people will not shift, though. People will get stuck in the fact that these are evil demons, if they're good entities or bad, whatever. Just say they're good entities. And they come here to help us. And they come here to help humanity progress because of the evil corruption that has been placed on us for at least 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Just think about it. Like, they come down here to help us progress because they want us to ascend to our spot in the universal structure of beings. There's going to be people that say, these are demons. These are demons. They're tricking you. You're going to have to use some really hardcore discernment because, I mean,
You can't whitewash the whole universe as demons.
yeah, you can't whitewash everything as demons. Like,
No.
you just can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
I think it's going to be hard especially the church. It's going to be hard for the church if this
Well,
happens. Because the church will be found out.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the church like the churches we go
Just
to
religion,
locally. I mean
yeah.
the church, they'll be found out. But that's no doubt why NASA is
Yeah.
dark right now, I'm sure. But Brandy, what do you think? What do you think the
Yeah.
trajectory of
think-
humanity would be?
According to a lot of people, there are a lot of entities already here, evil
Yeah.
entities even. So,
Yeah.
as far as our negative or evil entities headed to Earth, well, I don't know.
They're here. They're
But
already
here.
here
Yeah.
anyway. So, and there's already a battle, and there's already, the war between good and evil, if you will. So we already have to use discernment, and we already have to navigate this world, like I was saying, is a tension of opposites. I think, though, if we do end up having open contact, and by open contact, I mean like contact that's so undeniable that the entire world, has to acknowledge it. I think
Yeah.
it'll end up, opening the collective to see that there's more to this universe than we may have been led to believe.
Yeah.
And to be more open to the possibility of alternate dimensions and cosmic realms and, all of that.
Parallel
just that,
universes.
all of that. I don't know if there will be hard contact. It seems that things are always shrouded in mystery with these things. But I think it could stretch us into a more open stance collectively. But ultimately, I don't think it changes what we're here for. Like, we're here to integrate. We're here to do
That's
our
right.
shadow work and to live from love. And it really is that simple. And so even if a spaceship lands and ETs walk among us plain as day, we still can't bypass our inner work. Like, nothing is going to ultimately shift without that inner shift first and foremost. And collectively, people are so identified with the world of form, with the ego, that even something as spectacular as open contact would likely just crash us into self-destruction. Like, people would get out there in their egos about it, and all sorts of chaos would ensue.
Yeah.
So until we can live from love, until we surrender our small self, we won't see the new Earth emerge, regardless of who lands on Earth or what entities sail through our solar system. And I just find it super interesting. And, and I guess I'll be waiting to see how things unfold, but I'm mostly just remembering myself to meditate, to go within, to live from love. Whatever happens externally is kind of ancillary in my way of thinking.
Yeah. And so what you just said is exactly how I feel. Like, you said the new Earth may not be here for people to see, that I think that for some people, but for other people, I think we will see the new Earth. I think we will see the synchronicities play out. I think the synchronicities of Three Eye Atlas, of people seeing how spectacular it is versus the people who don't give a crap about it. It's just all kinds of separation that's kind of happening. And, there's I've heard me talk about this a lot, but the Earth is moving up in frequency. People are given a choice in this time to either move up with the frequency or stay where they're at. The Earth is moving on. Point blank. So if you don't get on board with that, you're getting left behind. And that I hope that doesn't scare people. But what I mean is, like, you cannot stay in your 3D self as everything is progressing.
Yeah.
Right. Like Earth ascending is it's a frequency. That new Earth is like a frequency. You meet it or you don't.
Exactly.
Until we all die off. And
Right. Well,
As-
see, I don't think anyone is ever left behind. But I do hear what you're saying, Parker, because there is that view that things are going to kind of split off, and there'll be like this new Earth, and then there'll be people stuck on an old Earth. that is a view that people hold.
Yeah.
I personally do not hold that view. I believe that it's a collective endeavor and we all shift collectively in our consciousness. And so I don't think anyone gets left behind, but I do believe that people have to sort of cycle through, like what you were saying, Annelise, like people die off and reincarnate because
Right,
death is not the
exactly.
end. And I believe, though, that we will have to see a certain mindset sort of die off. Well, I don't want to say people, but a certain mindset has to kind of go in order for things to kind of shift, because the whole collective it's a collective endeavor. We are all headed into whatever the new earth is, whatever that looks like. I believe it's for everyone. And I don't believe anyone gets left behind, but I do believe as earth is changing its resonance, as things are kind of closing in, I think that's why we see so much chaos in the world. I don't think it's that anyone's going to be left behind. I think, though, that we're in a pressure cooker and people are being forced to kind of shift into something more ultimately. And it's more painful, when we're in that kind of, I don't know, compression, if you will, for lack of a better word. It's like a squeezing, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like earth is being squeezed. We are being squeezed collectively.
Saying, like, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. And I think it's like a both and. I don't see it as like anyone's getting left behind like a hellish way. I think if we're living in the times of Earth's ascension, of the new age, of the age of Aquarius, then the new Earth is going to blend in with the old Earth for a time.
Right.
And those people will be left behind till their next reincarnation, I think is what you're saying.
That's what
But you're saying, great. I think he agrees with you. There's no left behind. Like you go to hell, you're never coming back. It's
the left behind is
it's a frequency shift. And when the new Earth collides with the old Earth right now, there's going to be people like maybe you and me who we're on board. We meet that frequency, so we get to see that new Earth in our lifetime. But then there's going to be people like maybe parents and grandparents who refuse to see the synchronicities and step into that path.
Right.
And so they will die off in their lifetime without having seen that new Earth frequency that we see. So I think it's a both and.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Like with
I
like the
hear
left
you.
behind. Yeah, I'm not meaning like physically the earth is gonna be like split off and like,
That is a view. So I thought that's what you were saying. Like there's a view out there that things are going to split, and then like you're going to have like an earth with people in one consciousness living out over here, separate from a higher consciousness earth over here. That's an actual view, which I do not hold. And so I thought that's what you were kind of speaking into. But seems like both you and I are saying the same thing. We just said it in different words. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's pretty much saying the same thing. Like the people who are going to see the new earth are going to see the synchronicities. They're going to see their life kind of synchronized in that way, because truly that's how I believe God talks. And the people who are going to be quote unquote left behind are just the people who are stuck in their ways, who cannot be open-minded towards anything that's happening in the new age.
Yeah.
But then they
finish their lifetime
their
here.
life, and then
And then
They'll
they'll
get it
come
on the
back.
next path.
exactly.
They'll catch it on the next
So
path.
just like you said, like they're always in progression. Everything is a collective, but just that way of like that being's thinking is going away, and then
I think it's always been that way too. Like we see it throughout. Ever since Jesus's day, the consciousness has gradually, progressively increased. And then so certain generations have to die off in order for other generations to kind of raise up and usher in a new sort of way of being in the world, a way of seeing. It was why the Israelites, what was it? That generation had to die before the other ones could enter the promised land. I think that's just the way of things. It's just that gradual flow of how things just progress along. Yeah.
Yeah.
walk in the mystical or stay in like the structure.
Yeah.
Johnny Barnett, who we interviewed here a few episodes ago, the astrologer friend of ours, he said that this is a time like in the stars, but in also individually, as above, so below, where like if you don't level up with this pressure cooker that Brandy, you referenced, that's it. Like this is the time. And then comes spring of 26, which funny enough, that's what UFO of God Chris Bledsoe said. The lady said things were really, a new knowledge will be imparted by April 2026. Well, Johnny Barnett said by April 2026, it's like we have hit that mark. If you transitioned with it, congratulations, welcome to your highest life path. if you resisted it and if you stayed in your negative thinking and your fear-based thinking and your separation mind, that was it. Sorry you missed it. And it's all really, I'm understanding it, like as hearing y'all speak, it's all saying the same thing. The stars and what y'all are
Yeah.
saying, what this
As above, so
this is
below.
really big. And that's why I thought this was a really cool episode to end our season on, our first season, because I think next year is going to be very, 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 very telling and unveiling in so many ways. So many ways.
Yeah. I just want to say one quick thing about the Chris Bledsoe prediction of Easter. And everybody can look this up on YouTube. It's in, I think, a short or something. Type in his name, UFO of God, boom, it comes up. But anyways, the video says that when the star of Regulus, which is a red star, comes down on Easter of April 2026, this red star is going to come down and be right in front of the Sphinx's face on the horizon. And the star is going to be blue at that point. It's going to go from red to blue. And it's going to be right in front of the Sphinx horizon face. And he said that time will usher in a new knowledge. It won't be a cataclysm like Atlantis or one of those things, but it will be a new knowledge. It'll be an end of a time and the beginning of a new time. And what's crazy is the astrologers and the AI machines show this happening. Show this regular star coming down to that exact point.
What is the Sphinx face?
Like in Egypt, right?
Oh, you mean the Sphinx in Egypt?
Oh, yeah. The Great Sphinx in Egypt. Yeah. So
Okay.
Like on the horizon.
on the plateau
Yeah.
or on the horizon, this regular star is red. Is going to come down and be right in front of the Sphinx face, and it's going to turn blue. And that's his prophecy that the lady told him was going to happen. But a good connection to that is the indigenous tribes of America the Hopi have a prophecy of the Kachina, which is a red planet coming down and turning blue. And when that happens, a new knowledge comes about. So it's all it seems to be interconnecting in all these crazy different ways.
Yeah.
But what's really crazy to me is the astrologers and AI have said this is going to happen. Like the star's coming down in Egypt. It's coming up on the horizon right there. And it's turning from red to blue. That has never happened before.
Well, that new knowledge could be so much, but in the terms of AI Atlas and all these orbs and all these things, it feels it's probably going to have some kind of intergalactic flavor to it.
Yeah.
But wait and see, I guess.
It is a big wait and see game. And, I want to reiterate, we are connected to source, and that's the main thing. Being connected to God and source, that's the main thing. No matter everything is, but just knowing that in yourself is that's the most important thing out of all of this.
All is guiding all. So control is an illusion. We may as well let go and let life have us, because it does anyway. That, who said that?
Probably some
Byron Katie. There it
man.
is. Byron Katie. Anyway, yeah. So the way I see it is whatever unfolds, I'm here for it. And so I may as well roll with it. And it's out of my pay grade and nobody's asking my permission to land alien craft or not. So I think, that's the attitude to take, not get too much in our heads about it and, and spin it around in ways that is unhelpful. Just allow it, whatever happens, and engage with discernment. But do you follow Chris Bledsoe currently? Are you following his socials and what he's saying about this 3-eye atlas thing?
Well, no, I actually have not seen his connection to 3-eye atlas or much about that, to be honest. But
okay.
What I did find was all what the lady told him is happening at the exact same time as 3-eye atlas, and or at least within a couple months, I mean,
that's really interesting. I just wondered if he had said anything and I missed it because I'm not tapped in or whatever. I may follow him, but if I do, I haven't seen anything, so I don't know.
No, what it really was I just had my interest really piqued by, he kept talking about the lady. And I just really got my interest piqued by that. And I went and looked it up on YouTube and, and it's just amazing. I think that's pretty crazy.
It is. It is. Yeah, I read that book. It was super interesting. It's crazy. It's what his whole
Yeah.
life is just really wild.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on our podcast and just talk
Yeah.
about his experiences, and
He's so-
especially with April 2026 coming up, he'd be a great one to just talk to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's so humble
Send him
too.
an
I like
invite.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. He's one of us sweet Southerners.
Yeah.
I think he's in
Where
what,
is he?
South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yeah, one of the
One of
Carolinas.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, sometimes I turn into my grandmother.
Yeah. I love it. Well, you guys, is there anything else we can say about this 3-eye atlas deal, or have we pretty much covered it all?
Just don't go off the deep end. Just everybody keep an open mind, and like
Yeah.
Brandy said, just let it unfold. Live in the moment. That's the main thing. Just know the facts, live in the moment, and watch what happens. And
Yeah, I agree. I would say don't spread fear either. If this really did
Yeah.
happen, if we're going to see the age of our galactic friends, I'm going to call them, coming down or coming out, because I think some of them are in the ocean too. If we're going to see that age, we don't need to be like fear mongering and spreading fear, and labeling everything you don't know as a demon is a really bad practice to do as someone walking the earth as an embodiment of love.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if and when this happens, just like you would think of how would Jesus treat an illegal alien in his country, how would Jesus treat a literal alien in his country? Like a literal outer space alien. I recognize that if this was real, and I do believe it is, these are people, a people group just like us, but they might be good, they might be bad, who knows, but there's nothing to fear. I know that because we are a divinely protected planet and have that assurance in so many ways. So yeah, just keep an open mind, like you said, and I just want to say thank you for listening for a whole year
Yes, thank you.
to this podcast. This has been the most fun, and Parker and I have just loved every minute of it and getting to do this with Brandy, and I'm really looking forward to second season and just digging into all the other rabbit holes left undug. Yes.
Yeah.
Undigged. Yes, that's
Yeah.
all. Thank you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, just a heads up as we close out today, this is our final episode of the season. New episodes and Burrow gatherings will return in January. So in the meantime, follow us on socials for release dates and other announcements. Also, our YouTube channel is back up to date and cleaned up. All new episodes will drop there at the same time that they drop across all of the other platforms. So go subscribe, follow us if you haven't already on YouTube. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend. Thank you all for journeying with us. It has been a privilege to transcend the rabbit hole with you all of this year. We wish you all a peaceful and joyous holiday season. As always, cosmic blessings and peace.
Do you ever grow discouraged by the weight of this world? Does Big Brother get you down with all the lies that he's told? Does the gloom and doom of nightly news haunt your dreams? So you scroll instead of sleep, 'cause distraction is key. But as long as there is still a sun up in the sky, I can choose to live on the sunny side. It's somewhere between burying my head in the sand and falling down the rabbit hole again. I was sleeping just fine peacefully inside my American dream, awoken when those puppet strings were cut right off. The evidence you can't ignore, share it, call you misinformed. I know the truth, but trying not to lose my mind. I'm somewhere between burying my head in the sand and falling down the rabbit hole again. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song, and the state of humankind had me humming alone. Hello, common sense, I'm convinced we've lost our way. Sold our attention to the system, now there's power to reclaim. But as long as there's a heart beating in my chest, I will cling to hope that's true. I will cast out the rest. There's no price on peace of mind, oh, and you won't find it here. It's that perfect love above calling you near. I was sleeping just fine peacefully inside my American inside.